No, there's a little bit of a false start there. Let's try that again. Alright, lads. Let's get into it. I am Mal Foster, and you are listening to the latest episode of Dived Out, where time keeps on slipping, into the future. Unless, of course, somehow you've gone and got yourself stuck in a continuous time loop. In which case, there is no future. There is only now. There is no future. There is only now. There is no future. There is only now. And if that's the case, which, let's be honest, it's not likely, because that kind of thing just doesn't happen, but if that is the case, then I hope that now is just full of wonder and joy, and that you are doing something great, and that you're not, say, I don't know, stuck in a traffic jam, or you're in the midst of a full-on argument with your racist uncle who sweats far more than any human being ever should do, or you're giving childbirth, because imagine that. Imagine being stuck in a constant loop of childbirth forever. Yeah. Terrifying. Mind you, having said that, I can think of worse alternative future visions. One of them is a possibility come November, so, you know what to do. But we're not looking down that particular U-bend right now. We are taking our eyes away from the runaway shopping cart on fire, and we're going to be looking and talking about some awesome, cool, groovy, fun, fantastic stuff. If you didn't catch last week's episode, then, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Come on. Pull yourself together, pull your pants up, don't even know what that means, but pull them up, pull yourself together, and go check out last week's episode, because it was amazing. And if you did catch last week's episode, chances are you're still probably trying to fathom out what exactly global video is. But it's alright. You'll get there, and you'll understand, and everything will be better. This week's episode, the second part of our two-parter with Shaune, is equally as amazing as last week's. And to give you, again, just a little sample platter, just a little bit of a tease. Yeah, you like that, don't you? A little bit of a tease. This is what you can expect in the next 35 to 40 minutes. You are going to get another anecdote from the weird cinema that I used to work at, which, by the way, I have a few stories because it was the weirdest place I've ever worked at. We're going to be talking about power tools, woodworking, Star Wars parodies, Untouched Whiskey, weird gifts. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. Yeah, so you don't want to go anywhere at all, unless you need to go to the toilet, which is fine. You can always keep your headphones in. I'd rather you didn't, because it's a little bit odd, but, just don't tell me if you're going to do it. Right, just don't, I don't want to know. Anyway, enough babbling, enough rambling, let's get into it. This is part 2 of my 2-part conversation with Shaune, and it's brilliant, What else can I say? That place was the weirdest place I've ever worked, period. And I was only there for about 5 months. It was the weirdest place I've ever worked. Just the amount of strange stories, from a guy overdosing during one of the Matrix films to the on-air proposal someone did for local radio, like a radio host.
Oh, I remember you told us about that.
Yeah, it was great. Because that was when you sort of had everything separated. You had your concession stand on one side of the foyer, you had the ticket booth on the other, and it was just a slow afternoon, and I was there by myself in the ticket booth, just watching them set up and just asking, like, what's going on over there? Like, oh yeah, he's so whatever his name was from local radio, he's doing a live segment for Valentine's Day. I was like, oh, what is he doing about, like, romantic comedies? And no, he's gonna ask Claire out on a date. I was like, what, on the radio? He's like, yeah. It's like, oh, all right. Does Claire know? And they're like, no, that's the best bit. She's upstairs doing like the take-ins from last night in the cash office. And they radioed her down. She came down, and then he just goes full swing into it, and he does like a really bad karaoke rendition of The Most Beautiful Girl in the World by Prince.
Oh, brilliant.
Cannot sing for Toffee, and it's one of the most real time, like the cringiest real time events I've ever seen, because you can just see in her face that she wants this to stop.
Yeah.
Like she just wants to dissolve into matter and disappear into the atmosphere.
It just sounds amazing.
And then he gets to the end of the song. He doesn't do the full version because obviously he's only got enough time for the segment. He gets to the end of like the chorus, and then he starts talking over the instrumental, saying, "Oh, Claire, I know we don't know each other very well. We know each other through a mutual friend, etc."
Good start.
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, it's a great start doing it live on radio. So
yeah, actually, yeah.
It's a great start to any relationship. Many successful marriages have always started with this.
Yeah.
And he gets to it, he asks her, and then she just, in the most straight-faced, dry manner, just goes, "No." And then just walks off. And then the worst bit, or the best bit, depending on where you were sat, I had the best seats in the house. I'm inside a plexiglass box and no one can really hear me laughing. Is then it's just dead air, and then it's just the remainder of like the instrumental going while he's trying to, because he thought it was a dead cert. He thought, "Oh, this is definitely going to win. I've got her a single rose. I'm singing a Prince. It's live on the radio, dead romantic." And he thinks, "Oh, I'm in for a definite Valentine's night here." And no, just
straight up no.
And then he's just absolutely drowning in Prince instrumental and awkwardness, and it was hilarious and at the same time horrendous.
Can you imagine if that awkward silence went on for so long that back at the radio station that dead air tape clicked in and just started playing promos and music?
They were just like, "Cut the feed, cut it."
Just unplug everything.
Go to news and weather. I don't care that it's 4:54. Just go to 5 o'clock news and weather. This is shit.
Yeah. 6 minutes of filler news. It's fine.
Just make up a story.
Ian Bolton got it out on Twitter again. Talk about
that. Oh, can always rely on Beefy to save a local segment. I have a list of things. So you were talking to kind of get back into pandemic life a second.
Yeah.
Talking about stuff that you've been using your time for. New hobbies and such, I guess. Like you talked about your vegetable patch. What else have you been doing? I know, but they don't. So let's just go from there.
Pretend you don't.
That's right. Everybody just we're all going to pretend I don't know, and we'll do this again. So, Shaune, what new hobbies have you been taking up during pandemic?
None.
Oh.
No, so I've...
Cut to news and weather. We need 6 minutes of
Beefy, come on. So I started in the veg patch and just general gardening, which was... that was purely driven by before the world went to shit, for want of a better phrase.
Sure.
Me and Rich decided that we were going to write down on a list of ice lolly sticks, things to do on a weekend. And then every weekend or every other weekend, just like pull one out, and then whatever was on it, that's what we were going to do. One of the things that I put on there was learn to grow vegetables. So then when we were at home forever, I kind of thought, well, might as well just do it now. So yeah, just getting more into gardening, that's been really good. It's also been quite good just for my mental health in terms of not so much forcing me to go outside, because obviously that's good for you, but having a genuine reason to go outside and have something to think about and something to concentrate on.
Right.
It's not so kind of intensive and thought intensive and everything else that you kind of, if you're too drained from work or whatever else of the day, you don't want to go and do it, but you can just go and do 10 minutes of putting some seeds in, or 15 minutes of moving some seeds from this pot to this pot, or putting something from this pot to the ground. And it's not brain dead, but it's brain dead work, just, you don't have to think about stuff, which means that you kind of, you might do an hour of it and you feel 1,000 times better than when you went outside. So that's been really good. And then I've also, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, taken up woodworking.
Yeah, you have.
Like, a genuine man, I suppose. I have no idea.
Like an old school 70s man selling cigarettes.
Yeah, I just stand in that shed, smoking cigars.
Just getting wood shavings all over you.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything. I'm just covering myself in sawdust and coming out going, oh, that was hard work, wasn't it?
You should see what I've knocked up in there.
Meanwhile, I'm on Amazon ordering a wooden chair. Trying to get it on Prime next day delivery.
Just trying to hide the box and move it into the garage van.
Where's that gazebo come from and all that bubble wrap?
It's cat food. It's cat food. It's what it is. I've just stockpiled. Bulk sale.
Just in case. It was on a special one-day deal.
What made you get into that? I don't know why it went so high all of a sudden.
Do you know what? I don't know.
Is it something you wanted to do before?
No, I've always, as a general rule of thumb, I've always liked the idea of being able to build things like that around the house. But I've always been so bad at it that I'd get annoyed at myself from how bad I am at it and just think, I'm not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
What's the point? I'm so bad at this. I just feel bad about myself after I've done it. So then I've never really had any kind of desire to do it. And then when we did the veg patch, we made raised beds, which was literally just a set of decking board planks fastened together in a square. And that was it. And we had two of these decking boards left over. And I thought, what the hell am I going to do with these? It was 2 4-meter lengths of wood basically just in the garden. And they were there for 3 weeks. And I just kept thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. No idea. And then I thought, I might try and build a planter out of it because I can do a square planter and it's going to be easy because it's just 4 sides, a bottom, a couple of legs, that's it. And I thought, if it goes wrong and I mess it up, it's no big deal because it's not for something that I need in the house or it's not for something that anyone's going to see.
Right.
If it goes wrong, I'll just put it in the bin and deny all knowledge of it. So anyway, I did this planter and it turned out all right. So our mum saw it and she said, oh, you make me one as well. So I had another one of these boards left. Okay, yeah. So I made another one, and that turned out all right. And then I made one for my niece because she got a gardening set from us for her birthday.
Okay.
It's like a subscription box, like a gardening subscription box, because she likes being outside in the garden and stuff like that. And then it just kind of went from there, really. It made kind of bigger and more complex planters, and then planters with trellises up the back. And then I've just finished my second bird table, which again was for my mum in the bottom of my grand's garden because she saw the one that we made and said that she wanted a new bird table. And now Rachel's friends asked if I'll build like a gazebo style thing, which, I mean, it's a massive leap from a bird table that's like a metre high to a gazebo.
I was just about to say, you're kind of levelling up a few notches. Like, how big is she wanting said gazebo? Is she giving?
It's going to be like the size of a door, so over 2 meters.
And like how long?
I don't know, maybe 4 meters. It's a corner one as well. So it's not even like just a square, it's a corner gazebo. But yeah, so it just kind of came out of nowhere, really. Just more of a need to get rid of some rubbish wood that was just lying around the garden. And then as I kind of got into it more and then realised that, if I do it and it looks like a dog's dinner, what does it matter? I'll just try and learn what I did wrong that time and then not do the same thing again next time.
Yeah.
So then, it's just kind of gone from there, really. And now I'm actually quite liking it. And I built myself a workbench the other day, managed to get that done, which makes everything easier. Like I said, when I built it, ironically, it would have been a lot easier having the workbench to build the workbench. But, these are the troubles that we have to go through every day. So
that's a real chicken and egg paradox right there.
Yeah, right there. We've all got our crosses to bear. So it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of evolved from nothing really, and now I'm quite getting into it and just enjoying messing around and seeing what else I can do. I used my router for the first time the other day to draw an outline of an axe that I had in the garage, in the shed. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I've done it now, so I might
He's going to start making duplicate axe handles.
It's the whole axe, it's not just the handle.
Oh. Well, you're going to start doing metal work as well. And just start making.
Can you imagine that? I've got a forge now.
You say that, but yes, I actually can. Because you started with gardening, you got onto woodwork. It's the next step. It's the evolution. This time next year, you'll be making like battle weapons.
I'll start buying clothes and just start wearing chainmail and armor. Imagine that on a Zoom meeting. Clunk, 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 clunk. Sorry, I'm late, guys.
Had to cool the forge down. It was reaching peak heights.
But yeah, no, it's been one of the most out of the blue hobbies that I think I've ever done. But at the same time, right now, I'm really enjoying it.
So I take it you've learnt just through, you've used the internet and such, used YouTube tutorials, or how have you done it? Like, how have you gone from having like practically zero knowledge to being able to guide yourself into making things? Just that, watching people do it and sort of taking note.
I had basic skills, in terms of like using a drill, screwdrivers, being able to use a handsaw to cut wood and things like that. But then I was never really competent with power tools properly, like electric saws and things like that. Mainly because I didn't have anywhere to do it. Mainly because I had no reason to do it. So I just never really practiced. So a lot of it has just been YouTube videos and just looking at pictures of things and looking at pictures of how things are made online. So, if I want to make, I'm trying to think of an example, take the bird table, sorry. Okay. I want to make a bird table. I spent about 20 minutes looking over our fence into next door's garden, looking at how theirs was built, and then just copied that, really. Not the exact design, but in terms of, okay, well, that's held up by, an upright strut that's going diagonally that way.
Yeah.
So that'll support the weight against the post. So if I put 4 of those around, it'll be dead stable. And then the roof looks like this and things like that. And then I think, okay, well, how do I cut that angle? Okay, so I'll go on YouTube and watch a guy cut a piece of wood up for like 25 minutes, basically. And that's how I learned how to use the router the other day. I bought this tool and I had no idea what it did, really.
What is a router? Because like I am totally ignorant.
I don't know the proper way to explain it. I'll explain it the way I know it. Sure. It's like a drill that you hold and push down, but it's instead of having a drill bit, it's got like a drill bit that cuts out. So say if you have a piece of wood and you want to make a gap through the middle of that wood, you'd use this to almost like cut that gap out so you could slot another piece of wood into that gap. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I have an idea of what you mean.
Like say like a flat pack drawer, you slide the bottom of the drawer in, don't you?
Yeah.
So that gap you could cut out, that gap that you slide the bottom, you could cut out with this tool.
Okay.
So I knew you could use it essentially to make furniture. You can make it quite sturdy because of the way that you can join the sides together using what's called a dovetail joint or a blind dovetail joint, which is like a weird angular joint that kind of pushes together. And then I think the way that the furniture would stress, it wouldn't be able to pop out if it was straight. But it's bizarre. Look it up. It's great. It's dead interesting if you're into cutting these kind of joints. So I bought this tool specifically for these things, thinking I don't really know what it is. I just know that I want one because at some point in the future I might want to make some furniture, which has to be sturdy. At the end of the day, I went into the garage and I finished painting this the bird table. And I thought I've nothing else to do now. And it took 10 minutes to paint this thing. I thought I want to do something while I'm here. So I thought I'm going to watch a video on how to use this router. And after like 20 minutes. I said I'd cut this outline of this axe out, and it's just a really simple, put the tool on a piece of wood, draw around it with a marker pen, get this tool and go, follow the outline of it. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing major, nothing amazing, but I was like, 20 minutes prior to that, I didn't know how the hell to use this machine of whirring death. Whereas now, I've got a slightly bigger understanding just because of just watching YouTube videos.
But that's the thing, is you can learn yourself an incredible, like I generally love YouTube. It's a great time machine if you ever want to watch like weird 90s nostalgia stuff, but it's also genuinely really helpful, especially like if you have a specific model of something that needs fixed, then chances are someone's done a tutorial, or at least they've kind of gone through some troubleshooting stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. Like, I generally am very impressed by anybody that can kind of learn that stuff, but to learn it just through observing, absorbing, and then just sort of replicating yourself is a genuine thing to be impressed by. Are you going to go further than a gazebo?
So my end goal of my woodworking enterprise is that I want to. So the thing I want to work up to make it is a bed frame, and that is purely driven from. A while ago, I saw a bed frame on the internet that I wanted to buy. Right. And then we didn't buy it because of everything that happened. We thought, save the money for now, pandemic and all the rest of it. And now I'm kind of thinking, well, I bet I could make a bed frame that's better than that for the same price. Because I know that the bed frame that we saw would have been like particle board or chipboard for the price it was. So I think, well, I could probably buy solid oak for less than that and then build it. And it might take like 3 months to build this bed, but we don't need the bed frame right away. So that's kind of like the next thing, I think. Or that's not the next thing. That's like that's my ultimate thing that I want to try and kind of get to, where it's good enough, I suppose, to be in the house. Because it's all right making stuff for the garden, because if it's a bit naff around the edges, you can just kind of turn it around, or so it's a rustic look, or just sand it and paint it, and you don't mind because it's in the garden, it's going to get rained on and all the rest of it. but I haven't yet made anything that's been good enough to kind of live indoors yet. So
Right.
I suppose that'll be like a good sign then that I've got to a point where it's a decent standard.
Yeah, that's the thing is you've got levels of progression. You know what I mean? You've started off with starting point A, and then you're building yourself up to more intricate and more detailed things that need more attention and need you to learn different things. Does that mean you're going to get more power tools to do your bed frame?
No, I think I've got enough. No, I want a table saw. That's a lie.
All right.
I want one more kind of saw. I've got 3 saws at the minute, and then I want one more, and then maybe a new sander.
Do you feel like this could become an addiction to making stuff and using tools?
It might be. Do you know what I found though is at first I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be case of, oh, buy that, I'll get myself that tool. But I found that you do use the same kind of tool, or me especially, use the same 2 or 3 things for almost everything. And it's only every now and then that I'll need to use a particular kind of saw. I don't need a table saw right now. I've managed by doing the most health and safety unconscious thing of taking my circular saw, turning it upside down and bolting it to another table.
Oh my god.
And then essentially just pushing a piece of wood over the top of it. So it strips like a plank into maybe 4 strips, but in a straight line. And it's so far it's worked. Like long term, I would like to get a table saw and build it onto that workbench, just so I'm not going as weird, like upside down Frankenstein table saw.
I think that's probably for the best.
But yeah, I can't see myself getting too many more, just purely for the fact I actually don't think I would use them. I wouldn't know how to use them for the time being. Maybe if I'm still doing this in like 5 or 6 years, maybe I might get better versions of the things I've got.
Right.
But I can't. I don't know. I might be completely wrong, but I can't see myself needing too much more at the minute.
I think you're going about it the right way. I mean, using what you have, and then if you need something, getting it and learning how to use it, rather than just kind of going like hog wild and buying everything.
Yeah.
In sight and being like, oh, I'm going to learn how to use that eventually. You'd be like, well, until you need to, just use what you've got, or improvise and make your own table saw.
Exactly, yeah. Make your own table saw. I'll show you how. I'll do a YouTube video.
There you go, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Anyone else that's looking at some loose bits of wood going, what could I do with this?
Although I feel like making a video of that awful table saw that I made that one time might be just not so much paying it forward as much just doing someone an injury.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm generally a little bit intimidated by power tools. This probably doesn't, you've known me long enough to know that this probably doesn't surprise you, but I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe because my cousin cut parts of his fingers off once when he was...
Yeah, that'd do it.
I remember being a kid, and he used to work as a carpenter of some description, or like in a carpentry shop. And he had an incident of some description where he cut like his finger, not his whole fingers, I don't think, but like the tips off.
Yeah.
But it was still enough to be like, yeah, I'm never touching a power tool.
I get that. There's still some that scare me a little bit. Like drills I'm fine with, and electric saws, like the ones that are on, like it's on a base and you just move this part so you can keep your hand, this other hand over here. Mm-hmm. Fine with them. But yeah, like the ones that are, you have to kind of hold it with 2 hands and you're moving it around. Sometimes even I'm a little bit wary about cutting this piece of wood, especially if it hits like a knot in the wood and it kicks back a little bit. Because you don't realize how kind of powerful they are. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, you're not like Leatherface. You're not kind of waving the thing around everywhere. I would hope not. But yeah, you just hit a little bit of wood, a knot in it. You think, and it just kicks back, and that's that shits me up enough as well. So yeah, I get the fear of it. I have images of you doing that, and then you're just getting a phone call saying, "Yeah, we don't need that gazebo after all." It's all right. We're going to deal without. We don't go outside that much at the moment, so we're good. Just running around the garden. One thing that I want to try and introduce is everyone that's going to be on is I have a rolling list of random topics. I have at the minute 27. So what I'm going to get you to do, and you the guinea pig here, is I'm going to get you to pick a number between 1 to 27. And you just, so everyone knows, Shaune has not seen the list. He doesn't know anything about it. This is the first he's hearing of it. He's going to pick between 1 to 27, one number, and I'm going to tell him what that is, and we're going to see what we get from that. So, okay, let's go with number 12. Ooh, number 12.
Stage fright.
Stage fright.
Yeah. Have you ever had stage fright?
In what sense? Because the sense I know stage frighting is when you go to your urinal and you cannot pee.
Well, that counts. I mean, anytime you have to perform in public,
Yeah.
which technically would be classed. Like as a kid at school, did you ever do like plays and stuff? And did you ever sort of suffer from stage fright, like freeze up, or were you just like perfectly okay?
The first school play we were in was obviously Nativity.
Classic.
And from not for what I remember, what I was told, apparently I was cried all the way through it. So I imagine that was my earliest memory of stage fright.
I think that counts. Yeah, for sure.
And then after that, we stopped doing the Nativity at Christmas and we started doing other plays instead. And we had to do one year that was almost like a Star Wars parody play.
What?
Well, apparently they bought the script. I didn't know this was a thing at the time, but schools like bought the scripts from different companies, so they didn't have to, think of things themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then we bought this thing. It was a Star Wars parody play, and I played this professor in it. I think it was because I wore glasses as a kid, which, I mean, I'm not being funny, but that's just starting you out on the wrong foot as well.
Yeah.
And I remember we were rehearsing it, and it was all fine. And then, like a couple of kind of the days before, in my mind, I was thinking it's going to be this big Hollywood star production. And then we got to the point of where like the parents and everyone came to see it, and I just shit out. And I think I whispered most of my lines. People couldn't really tell what I was saying. And there was a bit where I had to explain how we were going to get to space. And I had this diagram of this rocket, and I had to point to something and explain something about this rocket. And I could not remember for the life of me what I was supposed to say. Just went blank.
It's just completely blank. Didn't know how to lead the rest of the narrative. And then everyone's just like, well, if he doesn't know his line, I don't know my line. How are we going to get to space?
Exactly. I'm going to find the name of this play, because I remember one of the songs that it was called, The Source Will Be With You Always.
So it was like, it's like if you've ever been into like a pound shop and they play songs that you recognize, but it's not the actual songs. It's someone doing like a cover version of it. It was kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Like that version of a Star Wars play.
Yeah, and I think it was loosely based on Ketchup, from what I can remember.
Oh, so it was like a double meaning.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. I see what they did there.
Yeah, it was clever, wasn't it? I can see why they bought that. Why they bought the rights.
I'm sure all the parents in the audience are just like, oh, great.
Cost me £2 for this. I'm going to have to buy the bloody video.
Thankfully, it's not going to be a premium rent at $3.50.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that's my earliest memory of stage fright.
You want to do one more? Just for the laugh?
Yeah, go on. Why not?
All right, so you're down to 1 to 26.
Let's go with 22.
Oh, 22 is a good one.
Okay.
All right, 22 is best gifts, worst gifts. Now, these can be best gifts that you've given or received, and then likewise we'll flip it, worst gifts. And they can be either worst gifts you've received or given, or it can be both. And it doesn't have to be ultimate. It can just be like things that come to mind.
See, it sounds really ungrateful, doesn't it, when you say, oh, that's the worst gift I've ever received. But at the same time, there are some bad gifts. And that's just the way life is,
Of course.
There's no winning or losing with it. I mean, if there was, this one would be the loser because it was awful. When I left my last job, the person who organised my leave in present collection didn't know me at all. I had no idea really what I liked, what I didn't like, what I was into, any of that stuff. And apparently someone else at work who did know me had offered to sort out my gift. And this person said, no, it's fine. I've got this. So got to my last day and they came over and it was even worse because there was a fucking crowd of people round me while they're presenting me with this thing. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And I opened it and there was a bottle of Jack Daniels, which I've never drank in my life.
Right.
About 2 months before or something I was leaving, we had the Christmas party. And at the Christmas party, someone was drinking Jack Daniels and I said, oh, I hate that. So, that was there. So they got me something that, again, it sounds like I'm being really grateful. I'm not. I was very grateful the fact that they went out of their way to purchase something, as a
Yeah.
goodbye present and all the rest of it. But just give me the money next time or whatever, or a voucher.
A voucher to a shop of your choosing.
Yeah, love to shop. Yeah, so they got me this bottle of Jack Daniels, which I didn't like, and a book about, I can't remember, it was a baking book.
Oh,
something, but it was something that I've never expressed an interest in, like a cookery book, but for cakes and things, about some kind of weird cake thing that I've never mentioned I was interested in. I actually didn't really mention I was interested in baking at all, to be honest. So I don't know where the hell this came from.
So it was clearly just a punt. It was like, we've got to get him something.
Yeah, this felt like it was 10 o'clock the night before I was due to leave. Shit, Asda's still open, isn't it? All right, got 14 quid. What can I get for that?
It's pretty much the leaving equivalent of a Christmas present from the all-night garage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Box of firelighters.
Oh God, what do I get? What have you got? I've got that over there. That'll do. Yeah.
Box of firelighters and 2 Toblerones. That's what that was the equivalent of.
Would you have preferred that? 2 Toblerones and a box of firelighters.
Do you know what? This is going to sound again really, really ungrateful and really horrible. I would have preferred they didn't get me anything, just purely because I would rather someone didn't waste their money on something that they had no idea if I was ever going to need or want. Mostly need, to be honest, regardless of the want. I'd rather they just didn't waste the money on it and save the money and, just said, see you around. So, would you like just get me a card or something? That's fine. Fine with that.
Or a gift voucher to a shop of your choosing.
Yeah, or a gift voucher, all the money.
Yeah, that's always good. You can never go wrong. That's never a bad gift.
But yeah, so it was interesting. It was an interesting gift. It was as if it wasn't for me, and it was, oh my God, maybe that was it. Maybe it was for someone else, and they were like, oh shit, we didn't get you anything. Have this.
Just a last minute panic.
I think that's it. I think I've cracked the Da Vinci Code.
Well, there you go. Do you feel a little bit better about it now?
No, it still stings.
All right, fair enough.
Do you know the worst thing is? That bottle of Jack Daniels is still in the bloody cupboard downstairs, and I have to see that every day. Every day I go in that cupboard, he stares at me.
It's a constant reminder.
Because I don't know what to do with it.
All right, what about best gifts? Anything that jumps to mind?
The best gifts have been not mine and yours, mine and Rachel's wedding anniversary presents.
What are you saying? My gift to you for our wedding anniversary wasn't good enough?
It wasn't as good. It ranked slightly above Jack Daniels. Just purely because every year we've made something handmade, which has been good, because it means we've managed to keep everything for the last 5 years, which has been nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and that's good because you have to put a bit of thought and effort into it, and you have got something to keep as well. Because we kind of said we didn't want to just buy each other something that is just going to kind of sit there or we're not going to get used or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like we try and if we go and buy something, we'll try and buy something that we're going to use, but then try and make something as well. So then once a thing that's been bought has been used up, kind of got like a thing to keep at the end of it as well.
Yeah. So what's an example? What's like one of the handmade gifts that sticks out?
The first year was, I think it was cotton the first year. So we did. Oh, the first year was paper apparently. I don't think it was. I think it was cotton. I'll be honest.
Is that Rachel correcting you from downstairs?
She's just shouting from downstairs. Yeah.
It's paper.
Hang on. I don't think she's right. Just need to get this sorted now because this will come up later.
We'll soon find out if it's bloody paper or not, Rachel.
It's paper. It's paper. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, why?
Those German dinosaur cards.
Because I was wrong. Yeah, so first year was paper, and I made Rachel some origami flowers, and then Rachel bought a pack of German dinosaur playing cards, and then wrote things on each card. The reason she got the German dinosaur ones because A, dinosaurs are cool, and B, German's cool as a language.
Was the German thing a specific deliberate choice, or was it just like they only have this available in German?
No, she bought the German ones because every now and then I'll just speak some random German around the house. Not much. Usually just asking where the library is and then saying it's over the bridge.
You're asking your own German question and then answering it.
Yeah.
Right. How does that go? I kind of want a little glimpse into this.
I can't remember the library now. I know where to ask where the youth hostel is. I think it's something like, Wo ist die Jugendherberge?
Right.
And then a thing over the bridge is über die Ecke.
Über die Ecke. Nice.
I think.
So that's nice. I like that. That's like a little sort of inside joke / reference inside the already that sort of purposeful personal gift.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that.
No, it's good. It's a good theme. And the second year was cotton. That was right. That was definitely cotton. And we cross-stitched something for each other.
Nice.
Mine was better.
Was it a German dinosaur? Well, look at her. She wants to do it bloody separately. She's trying to hijack your episode.
Oh.
What's she saying? Tell about last year.
Chiming in. Oh, it's because last year was wood, and I couldn't think of anything to make for wood. Ironically, now, you know.
I know, right? You would have been perfectly suited this year.
Yeah.
Could have made her a gazebo.
I could have made a gazebo. We'll get divorce rates, and then we'll start again. By the time it gets to the woodworking one, I'll have finished the bed.
I'll have made the bed frame, yeah.
Yeah, last year I couldn't think of anything to make, and I'll be honest, I think I was just going through a bit of a rough time with my own mind and stuff as well, and I just had like zero creativity in me at all. Yeah, so I bought, I think it was like 20 trees or something like that were going to get planted. So I dedicated 20 trees.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was quite good.
Yeah, that's a hell of a gift. Because that's a genuinely really sweet gift, but it's also putting something back into the earth, quite literally.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. I may have to cut this out because you were really setting the bar high for gift giving, and you know, you're making my job much harder because now standard is way better than what I usually do. So yeah, this may not see the final cut. I don't know. There you go, some best gifts, worst gifts. I can tell you, it's not my worst gift, but it's a pretty bad gift that I heard about recently. Yeah. The person that replaced me at my old job for Secret Santa last year got a T-shirt printed for his Secret Santa recipient, and on the T-shirt was a badly photoshopped group photo of people from the office that he'd put together using profile pictures from Facebook. So he'd sourced the profile pictures and made like a really ill-fitting, not even like seamless sort of transition group photo. It was just random.
It's like a collage.
Yeah, essentially like a wearable collage that I think was like 2 sizes too big. And God. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That is awful. Last year I bought someone at work a Secret Santa present that was it was a T-shirt from the market in Preston from a place that printed them. And it was a picture of Barry Chuckle as Che Guevara.
That's a good gift. Who doesn't want that?
It was amazing.
Who wouldn't want that? That's a great gift. I mean, if I wore that over here, it'd be great because no one would know who it was, and they would probably just think I was some sort of Marxist. just swarming around, giving out my Marxist opinions left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Oh, look at him. He's one of the Chuckle brothers. It's a new terrorist organisation.
That's amazing. I fucking love that.
Yeah. Barry Chuckle. Like
South American political revolutionary, Barry Chuckle.
Yeah. That's a leader you could follow, isn't it? You follow him anywhere.
That's right. Chuckle 2020.
Yeah. Power to me, power to you.
All right, and there we go. That concludes our very first 2-part episode. Yeah, it's the first 2-parter. It's the first of the new format, which I am thinking is working pretty well. You know, it's working for me. But is it working for you? That's what I want to know. Do you like the shorter episodes? Does this format work better for you? I want to know. And the best way you can tell me, the best way you can get in touch about that or anything else regarding the show or just in general, if you just want to stop by and say hey, then you can do that. You can find me over on Twitter at I am Mal Foster. That is the best and most direct way to let me know what's working, what's not, or just to say what's happening. Now, obviously, I know that you have subscribed to the show. That's a no-brainer. That is just the definition of doy. But, you know, some of your friends may not have. And that is just criminal. And you need to get that sorted. And I'm counting on you to do that for me. So if you know anybody that would like this show but hasn't subscribed, then that's what you need to do. You need to tell them. You need to poke them with a virtual sharp stick of sorts. Or, just, gently mention it in passing. I'll do as well, Not tyrant. Subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, as the usual spiel at the end of the show goes, if you would like to help the show out, one of the best ways you can do so is by rating and reviewing. I don't know if you can hear this, but there are some real noisy birds outside. They're beginning to do my absolute melanin. Shut up, birds. This is the call to action bit. This is where I'm trying to get people to support the show, and they're not going to want to do that if you're squawking all the time, are they? Gah! Wind your beaks in. As I was saying before being disrupted by the boybs, if you do want to support the show, that is a brilliant way to do it. Rating and review, it helps with the internet magic and alchemy and algorithms and all of that good stuff. Don't exactly know how it works, but it does help, I know that. I've been told it by other people on the internet, so it must be true. You can also help out in other ways, and that is just generally by telling people. All jokes aside, if you know somebody that would enjoy this show, and they may enjoy next week's show, this is a good way to hook somebody in that maybe doesn't know about the show. So next week is pretty special. It's a solo show, just me, some research, and a specific topic. And that specific topic are failed weapons and obscure missions from World War II. That's right, we are jumping down the history pipe once again because it is going to be the 75th anniversary of VJ Day, and I thought what better way to celebrate such a landmark occasion than to actually look back at some of the more obscure and strange and slightly beguiling and definitely puzzling aspects of the great conflict of World War II. So yeah, we're going to be looking at a couple of failed weapons. And when you hear about them, it's completely understandable why they failed, and we're going to be looking at some very obscure, badass, incredible, mind-blowing missions. So if you like your history, or if you know somebody that really likes their history and you think they may be interested in that, that may be a good hook for them, then let them know. Let them know what is happening next week. Yeah, great stuff. After that, we're going to have some more guests, and then after that, I don't know yet. I'll be honest, I haven't got that far ahead, but there is still plenty of amazing stuff in the very foreground of this show. So yeah, if you're not on board yet, what are you doing? Get on board, baby! There's plenty of room. Whether you are a seasoned listener, and I say that kind of lightly because we've done 12 episodes, can you really be a seasoned listener after 12 episodes? Sure, yeah, of course you can. If you're a seasoned listener or you are brand spanking new to this particular spaceship of weird, then the best place, in all sincerity, for you to visit is dimed-out.com. You've got all the episodes there, all the subscription links to whatever podcast platform you use, and we've got other stuff on there too, the Dimed Out blog, other little bits and pieces, other things that I've done. So if you like this and for some bizarre reason you want to hear more, you can find links to a whole bunch of other stuff. You can also find a link to our coffee page over there as well. So as I said at the end of last week's episode, this is not required. It's certainly not demanded. It's just a suggestion. If you want to help out the show by throwing us a few pennies to help with hosting or server costs, or to put some cash towards some new equipment, then yeah, you can do that. You can do that if you want. You don't have to though. But if you want to, you can. Other than that, that is the housework done for this episode. This is this episode done for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Shaune, both parts. He will definitely be invited back. Hopefully, we're going to get his wonderful wife to do an episode as well at some point in the future. That is on my list of goals for the show, to get Rachel, Shaune's wife, to do an episode, because I think that would also be infinitely fascinating. Shut up, birds. I'm trying to finish. Oh, my days. Anyway, yeah, this is it for the episode. It ends with me shrieking at birds that can't hear me and don't understand me. So what better way to finish? If you have enjoyed this, then do, of course, as I say, subscribe. Stick around, we've got some amazing stuff. As I say, next week, it's all going to be about the obscure side of World War II with some really, really fascinating and baffling stories. So yeah, we're going to be diving into the history pipe and looking at some really cool stuff next week. Other than that, as always, until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, and keep it dimed out.